In recent days, there has been nothing more talked about than the extortion cases happening all over Layer Mainland. Many residents have been feeling frustrated or helpless, wondering how the system is protecting them. Hence, it's rare to get the chance to hear directly from the Attorney General of BC herself. Thank you for speaking with us today, Niki Sharma.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's a really important topic.
From your perspective, where is the system actually breaking down? Is it policing, prosecutions, courts, or laws? And what would it take to fix that?
Well, we're responding as our priority as a government, and what we found is that all levels of government, including across the country, law enforcement working together is how we're going to tackle this problem. That's why we have a joint extortion task force that consists of border security, federal RCMP, support for investigations, both international and not, so we can get at the crisis and focus on every tool in the toolbox that's going to help. We've had 13 charges laid so far, many investigations underway, and we're just not going to stop until we get to the bottom of what's causing so much fear in the communities.
Are our current laws designed for today's form of organized extortion? Because this hasn't happened in Canada before. Were we just unprepared to deal with this?
Yeah, there's certain things that we've been asking for changes at the federal level. Bill C-14 right now is before the House, and it has in it changes that I asked for the federal criminal code that helps to make the bail and sentencing for anybody committing extortion-related crimes to be more serious so that they are held longer away from society. I think a really important thing is the Premier asked for the federal government to designate the Bishnoi gang as a terrorist organization. And that helps to give the tools of terrorist laws that help prevent impacts of terrorist organizations on communities across Canada. All of these tools are at play now. We've had 3 arrests in Surrey a few days ago. A week ago, we had more charges laid at the people. We've had deportations where people are kicked out. That's an innovative program that's connecting border security with law enforcement. So when people are a part of these types of crimes, they don't have legal status in the country, they can be deported. There's so many things that we need to use to keep at this issue, and I'm hoping that the bill that's before the House right now at the federal government, Bill C-14, passes along with another bill that would help prevent people from claiming refugee status when they're being deported and responsible for criminal activity. So we can get those laws passed quickly, then our law enforcement will be able to step up with their work.
For sure. I mean, people are asking why our laws seem to be protecting offenders before victims. I mean, we're seeing shootings tied to extortion, and many suspects were already out on bail. So I think that's a very necessary initiative for sure. But when we talk to extortion victims, they don't seem to feel heard. Does BC have a minimum protection standard for extortion victims? And if not, is that something that's being considered?
It's a really good question. I meet with victims all the time, and they tell me the sense of security and safety after something like this happens to you is gone. And every time I hear and learn something from victims or the system, we've been working to respond along with Minister Krieger and the Premier. So, for example, the Surrey Police Service said we need more helicopter resources. We got that assurance from the federal government. We heard that victims need better support and on-the-ground monitoring, so we're investing in those programs. I also heard from people that it's the on-the-ground police presence that's pretty key, so having uniformed officers out there. So we got an assurance from the federal government for 20 more RCMP, and are helping support the RCMP to change their tactics, so there's more on-the-ground supports for people. So every time I learn something from community along with our government, we're advocating for pushing for those changes, and we'll keep at it. And I just want to assure somebody or everybody out there that's a victim of this that we're going to tackle this together, and we're here to listen and respond. And the way we're going to get through this is by people giving the information when they hear or see something to the authorities. We have so many investigations going on right now. So many search warrants have been issued. we're watching and we are acting. And so our support, or the support we can get from community with giving information that they would have, is going to help us get rid of this in our communities.
We're hearing from extortion victims that after shootings, they're being advised to move homes or leave the area rather than receiving protection. Are there plans to put rules in place to change how police respond in these cases if they're provided protection around the house?
Yeah, that really concerned me when I hear that from people, that they say, instead of like having the support and sense of safety on the ground, the thought of having to leave where your home is as a result of this just is, it's just unacceptable. We've been targeting resources for the police to respond on the ground. So surge resources, better victim supports. We funded victim supports programs. We're stepping up every step of the way. When the minute we hear or learn from people about what the gaps are, that's a gap that I've heard that we want to change, because people should feel safe, especially once they reported. That sense of knowing that the system is there to protect you once that's happened to you is so important, and we are stepping up in every way to make sure that happens. We've had some progress on the ground recently with better street patrols, and the helicopter resources will help with monitoring and responding to what's happening on the community. So I think it's something we need to turn around for sure.
Surrey is in the middle of a policing transition while facing this serious organized crime. Did the province underestimate how difficult that overlap would be?
I think police transitions we have leadership in place that's monitoring and managing this. This is extortion with this type of crime is hitting different communities across the country. It started a little bit earlier out east in Ontario. It's happening in Edmonton, and we were hit here in BC a little bit later than some of the other places, but hard. So as an international type of crime where there's the connections outside of our country and across the country, it really takes that national level connection to tackle it. So the joint extortion task force that we put in place is a bunch of experts. So all the different people from border security to the type of international investigations, all the resources of the top level law enforcement that can support local police. So they're there to be that support to all the local police that are acting to address extortion. We're having a big summit 2 weeks from now in Surrey, and it's going to have police enforcement from all across the world, the country, that are experiencing this, because these people go from city to city often, and that will bring the resources to bear on how we tackle the individuals that are involved in this. So it's bigger than a particular city, even though I know it's hitting Surrey hard. So we need that coordination of resources to tackle it.
What would you say to residents who no longer trust the justice system to protect them? Because people have started fighting back. I mean, there was that case in Bear Creek neighborhood where the residents shot back. A Conservative MP had just recently come to Surrey saying that he doesn't want people taking the law in their own hands, but he would also protect his family if that had been him.
Yeah, I mean, the system needs to work. We need to make sure that people feel safe, that police are responding, that the safety plans and measures are in place to keep people safe, and that people are put behind bars. That's been our focus and will continue to be. And we need to work with the federal government to change the laws. Those laws need to pass quickly. We need to put enough resources on the ground, and we need to keep people safe. I agree with that. And I want people to assure people that's our number one priority. When I hear about the kind of stand your ground and shooting back calls, I worry about that, because the statistics that show that the harm that can happen to innocent people, including the victims of extortion, is increased. I'm worried about the escalation of violence if people start shooting back, or having a gun in your home increases the risk to your family. All the statistics show that it's more of a danger to sometimes the innocent people that are involved in that. And on top of that, it doesn't stop crime. I don't think in any jurisdiction that has stand your ground laws in the States, we haven't seen a decrease in gun violence there. The answer is having the right level and strong level of police in the communities, and we're going to keep adding those resources. Recently, the Premier went directly to the Prime Minister to say that what we're seeing in Surrey and in other parts of the country is terrorism in slow motion, the way it's showing up in communities, to push on the federal government to pass those laws quickly. We were able to get better helicopter resources so we can have that kind of monitoring and more police on the ground in our communities. We just need to keep at it, and we won't stop until things are better.
And we've talked about all these changes and what realistically can change, but we sometimes can't see the full picture. What do you think the public misunderstands most about why extortion cases have been so difficult to stop?
They're very complicated in their nature in terms of the international and local component to them and the national level. And I think the resources right now with these investigations are focused on tackling all levels of how this is showing up. So not just the frontline shooters, and there's been 3 arrests just a couple days ago here with those frontline people that are causing the harm, but also the network of people that are associated with this. There was arrest when somebody showed up in India that fled from here and was arrested in India. So all of these crimes have a big, complex, international component to them. But action is happening. We've had 13 charges in BC. Hundreds of investigations are in place on the ground. Resources are there to spot people, and we'll keep on putting those resources in place. And I hear people, victims need to be supported, and we'll continue to step up that work.
Thank you so much for your time, Niki.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
That was Niki Sharma, Attorney General of BC, and I think it's important for people to understand the challenges and the steps that are being taken, and that Niki's insights give the public a clearer sense of what's happening at the provincial level. Well, that was our program for today. Keep watching Prime Asia TV.